Hello, I'm Tim Moody, President and CEO of Pan Global Resources. We have an advanced copper discovery in southern Spain in the Iberian Pyrite Belt, and we have a large portfolio of other targets where we anticipate making additional discoveries.
Right, and you've got a little bit of money to do it with. So the reason why we're talking is because I saw the headline. You've just done a non-broker financing, went out for 2, came back with 6. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, thanks, Matt, and good to see you again. Yes, look, it's, as people know, it's been a tough market for the juniors. So look, we went out quite conservative with looking at a small non-brokered financing, a couple of million, and we very quickly realised that there was a lot more interest at certainly at that price, which was pleasing. We uplifted the financing to 6 million, and we're on schedule to complete at the end of this month.
Right, but what, I guess the question that most people are asking is like, why now? Why at these prices? Because the market it's hard. You've been hit hard.
Yeah.
You're sitting around 20 cents is where you did the deal. The amount of dilution. Why not just take the 2 and kind of sort of see what the new year brings? Why go out for 6? Why take 6, I should say?
Yes, I think there are a number of reasons. Yes, there is some dilution, but there always is whenever you go to raise money. But look, we feel that the extra money is going to give us a much longer runway in an uncertain time. So look, who knows what the next 6 months is going to bring. So we've got to really think about the protecting the shareholders' interest, but also trying to keep the drill rigs turning. And that's really where we can add value. And when the market does turn around, we'll be in a much stronger position.
But tell me what that means. Okay, add value. An option would be don't keep the drill rigs turning, sit and wait, hunker down, and see what happens. Is that not an option?
I don't think it's a good idea to just sit there and wait for the lights to turn out and do nothing, because I think that gives investors less reason to invest in Pan Global, and we're not moving things forward. I think we're now in a much stronger position to move the company forward in what's been a pretty tough 12 to 18 months. But look, we're in a great position now.
Okay, I guess you're right in the sense that who knows what next year will bring. So you're very much of the school, take the money when it's there.
Yes, but we are still conscious of dilution. Look, if there was more money coming, I'm not sure we'd necessarily just keep an open ceiling on the financing. But look, I think 6 million is a good number. We don't. Certainly we can advance, continue keeping the drill rigs turning. We can advance our Romana discovery to a resource with that money, and we can continue to investigate the many other targets that we've gotten. One of them being Kenyatta Honda, where we think we could make another discovery. So I think this was the right thing to do.
Right. Before we move on to what the drill bit's going to do and where it's going to do it, just in terms of who came in. I mean, you said obviously you went out for 2, you came back with 6. It suggests that there's a lot of interest. Was it from existing shareholders? Was it mostly retail? I mean, how does it break down the new register?
It was a mixture, really. Look, it was institutions and a small amount from retail. It includes some new investors and existing shareholders. So a real sort of healthy mix, I guess. I think really what was really interesting is we've brought in some new institutions to as holders of Pan Global, and more interest from Europe. So I think that's also a good sort of change, a good outcome from this financing. Look, I think we're going to be less affected, by European investors on things like tax loss selling and so on. But look, we also looked at those that were approaching us to participate in the financing as well. Are these the right people to have on our book? And look, we're very happy with with the outcome.
Okay. So that's the money side of stuff, right?
Yep.
6 million. Was that going to put? Have you? I assume you've closed the book now. Have you? The money's in the bank, right? Okay.
We have essentially shut the book now. We're not accepting any more orders,
right?
And we're on schedule to complete at the end of the month as was scheduled.
Okay, so where's that put you in terms of cash now? And I guess more importantly, how do you allocate that cash? Because what I want to see as an investor is that kind of return on capital. It's not a case of we're just going to spend it, but it's like, how do you drive value? So how much money have you now got in the bank? Let's start with that.
Well, I'll have to see the final number from the financing, but let's say the 6 million less whatever the finance fee, probably sitting around 7 million thereabouts, something of that order. That'll allow us to complete what we set out to do this year, but then it'll take us right through next year. And I guess we can talk about objectives with that money. There are two or three, I guess. The first one being to try and advance the La Romana discovery, continue growing the discovery off to the west, which is the target of the current 25-hole drill program, and then move that towards to a resource. And I'm pretty confident. Well, that is an objective, is to come out with a maiden resource for La Romana sometime in 2024. Sooner the better. The other objective is to continue to drill new targets, make another discovery. And look, we've got some pretty exciting targets. We collected a lot of information this year we're moving some of these new targets up to drill ready status. We can now go after those and start to drill some of these new targets. But I think ahead of those, we've got Cañada Honda sitting there. We've got some really interesting results. So we can now go back and start to drill Cañada Honda as well. So I think those, I guess, the two primary objectives, come out with a resource on La Romana, which requires more drilling, which we're embarking on now. And secondly, make another discovery, move that forward. And I think both of those things will be value adding to the company and our investors. And
when will you sort of give the market some sort of sense of guidance as to what this drill plan or how you're modelling this drill plan, so we get a sense of the meters, the actual precisely what you're going to be doing in each area?
Yes. So now we've got clarity on the cash position going forward. There's a board meeting scheduled in the next couple of weeks where we'll present the plan. And I expect after that we'll be able to announce more what we intend to do with that money through 2024.
Right. Okay. And okay. So it's a case of we'll wait to hear from you, and when you can tell us precisely what you're going to be doing and why, and more importantly, because I think the interesting thing in the market at the moment we're seeing is that companies are struggling to raise capital. They're struggling to raise capital in this market. There's a disinterest in equities. Pick a commodity, except maybe uranium, and the companies are having to just be a little bit nimble, think on the feet, and maybe perhaps even change strategy. We've heard a couple of CEOs this week talk about perhaps moving through the economic study phases to kind of actually start some kind of revenue generating solution, much smaller than they originally planned. We've seen others looked at M&A and were spinning out assets and just ways to try and stay relevant, start a conversation. We've seen companies reformat how they present the information and market in terms of an equivalent terms. So people are working hard to stay front and center. I mean, for you, how are you coming at it?
Yeah, look, I think a couple of it's a really good question. I guess firstly, by having copper as our sort of primary target, I think that's the right commodity. I think the fundamentals for copper are still medium to longer term fundamentals for copper are fantastic. As I said at the beginning of this year, the objective, one of the strategic goals, was to position Pan Global such that it would be one of the better investments in the copper space when the market turns around, we will be one of the first choices, and that's what that was the objective, and I think we're demonstrating that interest in what we're doing, what we found is there with this recent financing. So I think that's one. I think we've got the right commodity. We're in a great location to do it. We've already got an advanced project, something that can be brought to production fairly short time, which is a rare advantage in today's sort of copper world. On the other hand, look, we're not sitting on our hands in terms of considering what else we could do. So look, we are continuing to look at other opportunities. We've got strategics, producers and non-producers, institutions which have signed CAs in some instances. We continue to have conversations with them, and there's a lot of interesting ideas out there. So yeah, we're continuing to look at other things that we could do, but underneath all of that is I want to protect the long-term interest of what we've got and make sure that we continue to be as attractive both as an investment opportunity. I think we represent a great investment opportunity at these current price levels, but also that should the bigger companies or whatever want to try and do something with us, that it's a competitive process and we're not doing anything to reduce that I guess the competitiveness.
Tim, okay, well, I do appreciate the update on the raise and more importantly, giving a sense of, where it's going to be allocated. We'll see in a few weeks, hopefully, when you've got confirmation from the board about how you allocate that capital.
Yeah.
So we'll see you soon.
Thanks very much, mate. All the best.